Hello!
Bitcoin could be at 40,000.
Let us go to moon.
The price of Bitcoin is $36,981 and it's fluctuating like crazy right now. Overnight, we've had a huge pump to the upside. That has meant that these trades that we had open in the previous day's video, well, I've opened a lot more of them. You can see that right now. But of course, a lot of them are in some significant profits right now. Those profits giving us now an account balance of $605,000. So if you want to join the most prosperous community on the entire internet, do slap a like on today's video. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. You don't want to miss a single video that I'm putting out there right now, because there's just so many things happening and the amount of profits that we can make in a bull market are insane. Last time round, I ran from $200,000 in account value in the bear market into a very stupid number that, yeah, it doesn't seem so realistic right now, but maybe we can get back there again. So if you want to know more about everything, slap a like, subscribe, because today we've got important news to discuss, such as BlackRock ETF custodian Coinbase recruiting a super counsel as the SEC is reviewing its application. And of course, Gary Gensler is open to relaunch FTX under the correct management. Very interesting things happening in the world of crypto right now. More interesting than anything else for me though is the profit on this Bitcoin trade. It's $109,000, but I've now taken $179,000 out of the trade. I keep, every time it goes up a little bit more, like to a new level, I said I was going to get out at 37. To be honest, 37 looks like we're going to crack straight through it. We are literally at this $37,000 resistance now that we've been talking about for a few days. So without further ado, slap a like, subscribe, and let's crack on with today's video, where we're going to start out by analyzing the price of Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin on the 15-minute chart. We are encountering this level of resistance at $37,000 right now. What happens if we zoom out on this chart? Well, let's go over to the 1 hour. I have to give it a second for it to load because my computer is not in a great mood today, and that's largely in part due to how many trades we've got open here. I'm going to talk about a lot of these trades in today's video, so make sure you are still paying attention. But just to give you an idea of what we've got a long on waves, a long on veracity, a long on a bunch of different stuff. Like if I was to list it all, I put a list of it on Twitter if you want to go over to my Twitter profile, but you can see basically everything that I've gone long on Twitter. And it's unbelievable actually how many of these are in a profit. They're all semi-decently sized trades. If you look at the average value of the trades here, you can see that, I mean, what's that? That's $103,000, 30K, 568, 50K, 670K, 80K, 40K, 60K, 37K. Like you can see my general sizing is quite sensible. It's not like mega huge trades. I'm just expecting at this moment in time, look, if Bitcoin is going to do perhaps a small reversal, not even a small reversal, like Bitcoin surely can't keep this up. It just can't. I'm going to show you a chart right now before we even look at what is going on with the price of Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin dominance. One of the reasons why I'm betting big on altcoins right now is because I think the Bitcoin dominance is due a small pullback in the near-term future. I'm just going to load that chart up on the screen right now. We're going to go to the daily chart, and then we're going to see there should be a line on this screen that hopefully appears. It's not appearing just yet. We'll give it a second. We'll come back to that. Now we're looking at the Bitcoin 1 hour chart. And on the 1 hour chart, yeah, Bitcoin is interacting very strongly with this level up here of around $37,000, currently trading at $36,900. On the daily chart, if we're to zoom out again on this, give you some more perspective. Look, if we break through this $37,000 level, it really opens up highs of around $48,000 at that point in time. Now, never say never, because look, if the Bitcoin ETF gets approved today, and it can get approved today, quite simply because the SEC's first window to approve all spot Bitcoin ETFs has begun today. So if we're looking at this and saying, look, it could potentially happen whereby we do get an ETF approval today, tomorrow, next week, it doesn't really matter when, but it's looking likely that the ETF is getting approved at this point in time. When that ETF gets approved, this here has only just begun. We're going to see a significant jump in the price of Bitcoin when that ETF gets approved, and I can't wait for that to happen. And I'm holding out for that to happen. I kind of would have expected it would happen by now. This is Bitcoin anyway on the daily market cap dominance. Daily is not going to be enough. We need to go to weekly here. Oh, there we go. You can see it for just a marginal second. There we go. We need to put the resistance line on here so you can see there's a couple of different levels of resistance that we might encounter. You've got your lower blue line and your higher white line here. It could be either of these two lines pays off. Either way, perhaps there's a little bit more space in Bitcoin dominance for Bitcoin to grow. You know, the higher that Bitcoin is going here, the lower the altcoin market caps are going. So we want this chart to be going downwards to cause an altcoin season. Now, an altcoin season, from my perspective, is just around the corner. Look, if Bitcoin even keeps rallying from here, you're going to see dollar value increases in altcoins. But everybody always goes at the start of any kind of bullish period of time, they always say, what should I buy? Like, I don't want to buy Bitcoin because Bitcoin's already gone up. I want to buy something else. And that's when the altcoin season kicks off. So we're not that far away. There are some tremendous utility in many of these altcoins. And if you do want to know where you can find all the altcoins, go to cryptosavingexpert.com, go to the markets tab here at the top of the screen, and then you can find everything. Currently, the largest altcoins in crypto, I mean, one of which is, of course, Ethereum is technically the largest altcoin, probably always will be, to be honest. But other than that, what ones have we got in the top 10? Solana's been on a bit of a tear this past week, up 10%. Another one that's up 20% this past week is Cardano. What else have we got that's big up this week? Chainlink up 34% this week. Polygon up 23% this week. But really what I'm looking at are these ones that are not up as much, like Polkadot is up 7.8. You got a question, why is Polkadot up 7.8? Why isn't it matching the rest of them? And then from my perspective, what I tend to do in these scenarios is I buy the ones that are up less. Because if you think about it like a bit of a game here, the game goes, okay, I've set off, I'm going to pump first, and then you're going to pump second, and then you're going to pump third, and then I'm going to pump fourth. Like there's a motion to it. What's the best way of putting it? There's a flow. You've got to understand the flow when you're trading crypto, and I am pretty good at understanding that flow, and I like that flow. So I'm just very, very happy overall today. One of the other metrics that we can use to keep a track on whether an altcoin bull run is coming is by looking at the Ethereum Bitcoin dominance, of which is getting kind of trashed right now. It doesn't really look all that good. I want to go over to the daily chart to give us a bit of longer term perspective on how this is getting along, and we need to wait for it to load. There we go. So Bitcoin dominance, or rather Ethereum's Bitcoin dominance, is just had another bit of a rally to the downside, but overall, it should be bottoming out sometime soon. It's surely not that much more time to go. You can see here, inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's gonna pay off on this. Either that, or it rallies all the way down to this lower level of support down here, which I just can't see, to be honest. I think that's kind of unrealistic expectations, unless Bitcoin really did go on an absolute tear, because that would require it to drop quite significantly to, lose 23% of its value against Bitcoin. I guess the only way that I could see that happening is if Bitcoin was to rally 23%. What does a 23% rally look like on the price of Bitcoin? 23% rally on the price of Bitcoin up to about there-ish. That would take us to a price of about $45,900. So, that would be the top of the range. So I guess never say never. It can realistically happen. The market is looking just amazing right now. So let's briefly check in on some of today's cryptocurrency news, where Tom Emmer's amendment to tame the SEC enforcement passes the House, which is really good news because it means the SEC is not going to be as aggressive when going after cryptocurrency companies in the future. The SEC's Gary Gensler is, of course, open to FTX relaunch under the correct management. The SEC's first window to approve all spot 12 Bitcoin ETFs is beginning today. The SEC has said to open talks with Grayscale on spot Bitcoin ETF push. And then the most important thing from my perspective right now is that Blackrock ETF custodian has recruited a super counsel as SEC is reviewing its application. You wouldn't be hiring a full-time super counsel if you didn't think that ETF application was going to get approved. Like, we know this thing's coming. It's a matter of time. Even if Bitcoin is getting a small rejection here, it's a buy the dip type scenario from my perspective, and that's what exactly I'm doing. If you are interested in trading as well, use BYBIT and BitGet. You'll find them both linked in today's video description. I trade on both exchanges. Both of them are great, but if you're in the UK, you can't use BYBIT. So you'll find a link for BitGet in today's video description. If you are in the UK, it's basically the exact same as BYBIT, apart from it's blue. This is what, this is BYBIT up here. Oh, one more thing we should actually discuss in today's video is TAP. TAP's price the other day went all the way down, like somebody really wanted to sell the other day. They sold that much in one go down. Like, you're an absolute moron. Why did you do that? You just got terrible value for money on your trades here. Anyway, the price is really down at a very attractive level right now. So I'm going to go and buy some TAB. Why not? Let's add that to portfolio again. Right, this page is nearly loaded on BitGet. There we go. What have we got in the account? $71,000. That should mean that we've got some very significant money in the future. I can't be bothered to wait for it to load. In fact, instead, what I'll just do here is click on the 90-day chart and it'll show you the account value that started down here at 14 and it keeps on rising, and we now find ourselves at $71,000 today. So that's really good. And if you are interested in trading, check out BitGet. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. What an amazing streak we're on right now. It is going fantabulously. Now, why have I opened all of these different altcoin trades? I want to give you just a couple of examples of ones that I think will do particularly well out of this lot. I'm less confident on Cake, but I want some exposure to it. Bionomy, I think, is going to go really well, quite simply because the price is in the toilet. When looking at Dogecoin, I think Dogecoin will pump because I think Elon will say something about Doge at some point because it's popular to say stuff like that in bull markets. Elrond, I think, is a really good shout for the longer term. Ethereum is always a good shout. And then Phantom. Phantom have taken a larger position in Phantom, $124,000. Phantom in markets like this has got a habit of going up very, very significantly. If we actually click on the price of Phantom here, which will screw up the entire screen, there we go. You can see that I went long from down here at the bottom, but this is only on the 1 minute chart. So I've not really had this trade open at these, I mean, I've only opened it last night, but if we go over to the hourly chart and just kind of get some perspective, first of all, on how the pump is going so far. So we've pumped up from an absolute bottom here of around 17 cents up to 27 cents where we sit today. If we now go over to the weekly chart and just get some longer term perspective on how Phantom is going when it loads, because it might just take a moment for it to load. There we go. This is what I'm looking at and I'm going, wow, Phantom has really not pumped back yet. Volumes are returning and yet price is nowhere as high as it used to be. This is Phantom at $3. This is Phantom at 20 cents. Even during the previous bull run up that we had, I think it was at the start of this year, the price of Phantom rose from 20 cents and it got all the way to about 65 cents at the top here. I'll just zoom in on that. There you go. 65 cents at the top. So my target for Phantom has got to be at least a retest of the previous highs here of at least 50 cents, which would be a 2x in price, and a 2x in price on a $124,000 long position. Well, you know what that means. That's $124,000 worth of profit. And again, you don't necessarily need a lot of money to be playing in the altcoin space. You just need to use futures. And for that, check out BitGet. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. You can trade all of these coins on BitGet and you can trade all of these coins on BYBIT. Let's explain a couple more of the trades that I've got here before ending out today's video. Another big one that I've got that's quite big here was the IOST trade. There you go. $64,000 long on IOST, but IOST has been dunked on really heavily recently, and the other one being Harmony. Between Harmony and IOST, let's go look at Harmony first of all, because the entry that I've got on Harmony is quite decent, to be honest. On Harmony, you find with a lot of these different altcoins here, they all have very similar looking charts. All of their charts tend to look horrendous. There we go. Nope, come on. Daily chart maybe? Do you want to give us the daily chart? You just don't want to do it, does it? Do you like the new setup, by the way? I thought I'd try filming today's video on a camera. If you enjoy the video being filmed on a camera rather than on a phone, slap a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. There we go. Right, so this is the current price of OneCoin. OneCoin used to be much higher than 3 cents in the past, I assure you. My entry is from these levels. I think that in the future, this is going to get back up to the previous bull market highs. I think it's set about 50 to 60 cents per coin. Maybe even $1 per coin at one point was Harmony. It's just down so bad at the moment. I just think it's worth a punt. I think that so many of these different altcoins are all worth a decent punt right now. I think that from my perspective, I want exposure to these markets. I want to know what you're all doing as well. Leave your messages and everything in today's comment section and let me know what your expectations are for this bull market. At the same time, I'm back on the main channel today with, would I call it a 100x altcoin video? I'm going to call it 20x altcoins because I think it's more realistic. Or maybe I'll put 100x altcoins in the title. Doesn't really matter. They're all probably going to go up in price if we're going to get a bull market. So on that note, thank you all for watching and slap a like, subscribe, check out links and information to exchanges in today's video description. If you want to improve your trading techniques, do it for free on cryptosavingexpert.com with all of the wonderful education and information that's on there. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This video is over now. You'll find something else to watch.